Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ego Weight Watchers, I give you guys a look into the fighter's lifestyle, before after progress pictures, let you know what they're looking like, especially if they have a fight coming up. Now there is a fight coming up that I'm looking forward to, May 6th, and that's I was born ready, Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, you'll see pictures throughout the video. He had a media day. Myself, I would have tried to get to it. I live in California. It was in San Diego, I believe. And he held his media day for his May 6th fight. However, I'm on the other side of the US. I'm in Brooklyn right now, to be exact, for the Berto Porter fight. So I did see clips and I seen the pictures and stuff. And I gotta say, Ego Weight Watchers, AKA Canelo, looks like a beast. He always looks good in training, pause. He always looks like he's motivated. Like his media, I've been to several media days and sometimes people just BS the media day and they, throw a few punches, but after going through so many media days, it's just like, and some guys choose not to reveal too much of what they got going on and what they worked on in training camp, and they just, breeze through it. It's gonna be a breeze. Canelo, I think he always, the ones I've seen at least, he always seems like he's putting in some effort, like he's really hitting the heavy bag, like he's really training, or he's showing off the mitt work. So I think he might even enjoy media days, just to be around the, people feed off energy. I feel like that. I feel like I feed off energy, so he might be a person like that, feeds off the energy of having people around, like, oh, I can't just half-ass it. But look at this picture right here, man. This dude he's big, he's in shape, and I told you guys straight up before, I didn't make any official predictions or whatnot, but I told you guys that I was started at, when the fight was first announced, I was like, man, Chavez Jr., he might be too big, and he still might. We have to see on May 6th, but as we get closer, man, because I told you guys straight up, for me, technique, skill, finesse, developing, consistency in career, all of those accolades go to Canelo. Like, I've always seen it that way. I always thought Canelo was the more complete fighter, but I also studied boxing and I realized that size does matter. And there's little spots in Canelo's game, like him putting on muscle. Will he tire faster? Because that's something earlier in his career where he was fighting in spurts. Watch the Shane Mosley fight. Watch even like Austin Trout, you kind of coasted. And you can't really do that against a tough pressure fighter like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who's going to keep coming at you. You can't really afford to gas out. Watch the Andy Lee and Chavez Jr. fight. So in terms of pure skill, I've always rated Canelo above, and he's just making it hard. I really don't know who I want to pick on this. Like, I never do this, but I'm really not doing like to sell the fight or anything. I really genuinely don't know who I'll pick, and I could really make a solid argument for either guy winning, but most of Chavez Jr.'s arguments have something to do with weight and then a few like little deficiencies I've seen with Canelo. But I mean, Canelo's making it hard, pause, for me to pick against him, because he looks like he's in shape, he looks strong, and like I said, one of the biggest concerns I have is he's moving up 10.5 pounds. So how is he gonna look? But he's saying himself he might even feel better at this weight. This is what Canelo said at the media day, and I quote, "We have prepared very well for this fight. I feel fast and strong, and not having to drop so much weight will benefit me come fight night." He also says, "Chavez Jr. has gotten to this point because of his name. He lacks the discipline to be the best. He has had so many highs and lows in his career. I hope that he gets his act together and that we get the best Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in the ring on May 6th. that is going to make the fight all the more action-packed inside the ring. I don't want no excuses. I don't want any excuses. So that's from Canelo. And that's, I mean, he kind of mirrors the sentiments of a lot of people. A lot of people feel like Chavez Jr. was granted or gifted some opportunities, maybe even decisions, like the Brian Vera first fight. I keep it a buck. I had Brian Vera winning. Although Chavez Jr.'s punches hurt Brian Vera more, he wasn't active enough. And Brian Vera was active, and Chavez doesn't have the greatest defense. But you can't just go off of, you know what I mean? It's not like Brian Vera was getting knocked down and a bunch of stuff. So you got to judge the round in its entirety, the full 3 minutes. You can't just say, oh, Chavez Jr. landed one punch and it hurt him. Of course it hurt him, because he's 20, 30 pounds heavier, it looks like. You know what I mean? So a lot of people feel that way about Chavez Jr. He's gotten decisions, and he's been put in positions and paychecks and stuff that he hasn't necessarily had to work for, just because he has the famous surname. But I will say, in defense of Chavez Jr., or the flip side of the coin, a lot of people feel that about Canelo early in his career too. They felt that he was being spoon-fed, and people were making a big deal about him because of the way he looked. Fair skin, red hair, and he almost looked Irish or something, you know what I'm saying? So I think early in his career, people felt the same way about Canelo. Like, other guys had been just taking their ups and downs, like Johnny Gonzalez, for example, from Mexico, but because he didn't have red hair, he didn't necessarily get the same treatment from Golden Boy. But all that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, these two dudes got to fight, and May 6th is going to go down. HBO pay-per-view, and the undercard is solid. Lucas Matisse's on it versus a former Adrian Broner opponent, Emmanuel Transformer Taylor. You also have David Lemieux, who I made a video about this. They're saying Lemieux might be in the sweepstakes for Canelo if they both get past their next fights and or look good, or whatever the other criteria is to land a Canelo shot. And they're saying if the Golovkin fight doesn't pan out, which I want to see it. I'm not holding my breath though. I'm definitely not holding my breath, because it's just, that's what they want you to do. Just wait and wait and wait and get aggravated and argue in the comments. I'm not doing all that. If they're gonna fight in September, great. I'll tune in or try to go to the fight, one of the two. And if they don't, then oh well, on to the next. Because 2017 has been off to a phenomenal year. We're getting a lot of great, compelling matches. Joshua Klitschko, Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. this weekend. Berto versus Porter. You know what I mean? There's just too many. Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn. How can I forget that one? And Miguel Cotto versus Kamagai, a guy that Robert Guerrero beat in 2014. Great fight. Nah, a little bit of sarcasm. But we're getting too many great fights for me to just be held up and hell-bent on one fight. That, back in the day, that might have been like 2012 or something. That might have been a thing for boxing fans, when before streaming and the Cody and all this stuff got too big. But now it doesn't work like that. It's either put up or shut up. These promoters got to put on the best fights we want to see. I have no problem with Canelo Chavez Jr. I think it's a good fight. Weight is a huge factor. How is Canelo? Because anybody can look good in a media day, but how do you perform when somebody's punching you with that extra weight? You know what I mean? And the same thing for Chavez Jr. Will he look like a skeleton? You know what I mean? He's gonna look like the Nightmare Before Christmas Jack on the scale. So weight is, that's what this card should be called, the Weight Chronicles, or you know what I mean? They could even put Canelo Chavez Jr. May 6th, Ego Weight Watchers, or you know what I mean, sponsored me or something, because this is a fight where weight matters. Weight definitely matters in this particular fight. But judging from the media day, Canelo, he's going ham, man. He looked good in the all the workouts that I've seen. The weight, he definitely looks like I told you weight was a huge thing for me in this fight, but this basically corroborates what I told you. I said to you guys in past videos, several, that I think Canelo was starving himself out. You know what I mean? It was becoming increasingly harder and harder and harder to make the weight. And this is all the proof that I needed, because he looks great at this new weight. So all this time where people were like, oh, move up to 60, fight Golovkin, and he was like, my body's not ready. I'm not ready to move. No, your body was ready. You didn't maybe want to fight Golovkin at that time or something. I don't know. I don't know the logistics, but I think 154, 155 was getting harder and harder and harder to make. And I think the evidence is his next move. After he made that 54 with Liam Smith, all right, y'all. You know what I mean? He left junior middle, and now he looks like he's in some of the best shape of his career. You know what I mean? He looks like a pit bull. You know what I mean? He just looks ready. So I like it, though. It makes the fight more compelling and adds more drama to it. We got to see what Chavez Jr. looks like, especially on that scale. Ego Weight Watchers, man, I'm keeping you guys plugged in. Make sure you guys subscribe. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.